Hello, welcome back to Search Sean. This is another Chat with Sean episode, and it's going to be awesome, this one. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. As usual, I get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, then we get into our great guest and what we're going to cover. But yeah, recently I had Tom Capper on, obviously recently been on the main stage at Brighton SEO, and he was just covering kind of what his talk was about Brighton, but we kind of went a bit further, but measuring AIOs, AI overviews, the impact of that. But obviously we went into AI mode and all the other new stuff that's come around, but it's great. He really knows his stuff from Moz, obviously. And we did a great talk there. So definitely check that out. I'll put links in the description so you can check that out. And yeah, there's a new format on the channel. So obviously I do my SEO and AI news and digital marketing news episodes. And sometimes they're quite long and it's just me, going on about them. And I show videos and stuff to break it up. But now I've got a weekly show where I'm joined by a whole group of great people to co-host the shows with. And yeah, the first one was filmed a week ago. It was awesome. And we just basically cover kind of like top stories that we found interesting, like not just the usual sort of algorithm updates and that kind of thing, but, the stories you found interesting in digital marketing, top videos. So we feature some of the videos that I've been watching or seen lately, and some of the top social posts, like from people like Freddie, and just featuring, those and who we think you should follow and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a really great chat. The first one, we're going to do that weekly to break up those sort of longer videos that I do. So yeah, I'll stop going on. This video is again slightly different. We've got a real a focus point to the video where this chat where we're going to talk about something I found on LinkedIn, and I reached out to Freddie and it was really awesome. And obviously it'll kind of make sense when we get into it. But first of all, as usual, I'll do an introduction and then we'll get into it. But obviously, as you can see, we've got Freddie Chatt with us today. And Freddie is a freelance SEO consultant who specializes exclusively in e-commerce SEO. He helps e-commerce and DTC brands unlock sustainable growth from organic search through increasing traffic, conversions, and revenue, whilst decreasing dependencies on paid channels, which is obviously what everyone wants to see. So yeah, so glad to have you on, Freddie.
So glad to be here, Sean. Thanks for inviting me on this time.
Yeah, like I say, I've been featuring you a lot on the channel, so to actually have you on person is awesome. And I guess before we get into it, can you just lay out what we are going to talk about today, kind of why you did it and that kind of thing? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to run through a Miro board, which is almost like a massive whiteboard, essentially of me breaking down Gymshark's kind of SEO and why kind of I love everything that they do. So for transparency, I have never worked on Gymshark's SEO as much as I'd love to, but I love really breaking down brands that are doing SEO really well as a way to show people kind of what they are should be doing, give people ideas and things like that. And yeah, so it just gives a way to almost celebrate people doing SEO. We're always very quick to jump on the bandwagon when someone's done a migration and it's not gone too well and stuff like that. But it's also really good to celebrate what's working in the industry as well.
Yeah, and I must admit, I am a fan of Gymshark myself, and it was cool to see that because they're such, it's great a story, the guy built in his bedroom and then went on to be international, and they do such a good job of branding. And I said to you backstage, or whatever you want to call it, offline, that I send it to everyone in my company saying, this is awesome the way you've laid it out. This is, if you're going to break down a user journey, this is fantastic, and we use Miro in-house. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. So I'm really excited about getting into it, and we could discuss each step and that kind of thing, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, so the whole thing kind of breaks down everything that I love about what kind of Gymshark is doing with their SEO. I started with where just some top level kind of facts about the brand, obviously just showing kind of how successful they are as a brand, which obviously, as we all know, massively helps when it comes to SEO. You're working with a brand that has a lot of kind of other income streams in terms of channels that they're working on, whether that's social or elsewhere, kind of that means it's a lot easier for as an SEO to kind of like pick up non-branded traffic if there's already a lot of branded traffic going on there. So yeah, so kicked off with like some top level stuff from there. Then kind of like essentially what I did going into SEMrush and Ahrefs, I kind of like pulled out different types of keywords that they were like going after that they're ranking really well for. Because I was saying that their domain authority is fantastic just purely for the brand that they are and how they kind of like marketed themselves. During this process, I kind of like flagged that they like do target such a broad range of keywords, like from top of the funnel type keywords through to the bottom of the funnel, like commercial keywords that, and I'll kind of like highlight some of the things on their category pages that do really well there. So yes, in general, kind of like on their kind of like blog traffic. So I don't know too much about the intricacies of kind of like everything that they've done, but I know in the past they had essentially their blog was on a separate subdomain, but then they brought it into their main site and then made that available on all their international sites and stuff as well. So there's kind of like, I think there's been a lot of like kind of internal SEO projects going on there, which have all resulted in like kind of like where they are in this position. And there's actually something that I've noticed on their site in the last few days that aren't actually included in this, that I need to go and update this and actually get them included. But yes, so carrying on with like some of the interesting things.
What does that include, or can you not say that yet?
No, so one of the things they've added on their homepage is almost like an internal linking block that has about kind of like 20 to 30 internal links through to the deep category pages, like which I love based on the fact that it's obviously the homepage is the most authoritative page on the site, on virtually every site, just because of the natural way people link to sites, and that then just allows them to kind of like funnel through that authority to the deeper kind of category pages and things like that would be kind of like much further in like kind of the site architecture. And it's something that not many brands do. They have like a few internal links from like kind of just standard homepage stuff, but they basically got a listed block of text links under like different headings that link through, and they just just works really well from an SEO perspective. And it may not look the prettiest from a user experience point of view, but it still kind of like functions really well from a user experience point of view. It has like it is what people would be looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think like, and by the way, the link will be in the description for everyone, so you can go and check this out. And yeah, obviously I'll put the Gymshark website there. You can go check that out as well. And this isn't sponsored by them or anything like that, but yeah, I think the homepage is so underutilized, like in every sector, but basically, but obviously in e-commerce, it's like just as important, obviously, as anywhere, but it's definitely underutilized or not updated or not looked at enough, on a constant basis. And like you say, it's generally the most authoritative page on your website, the most crawled page on your website. So yeah, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, so at Gymshark, they did lots of that kind of top of the funnel content pieces around that kind of how to do certain exercises and things like that, which obviously gets them a lot of traffic. But what's really powerful for them is obviously this is also like really strong. While the purchase intent is not there, but the awareness of the brand building is really important for them. So when it comes to kind of like how to do certain exercises or kind of like how to build muscle in triceps and stuff like that, the people that are kind of actively searching for that are probably the people that are going to the gym or being active or wanting to do that stuff. So it's a really kind of like closely tied in awareness piece by them like creating this content, ranking really well for this content and driving lots of traffic here. On these pages as well for their blog content, they've kind of got incentivized newsletter signups. They kind of feature their products and stuff quite prominently. So it's kind of, they got the whole, almost like the funnel kind of working in terms of they're attracting lots of attention based on this content and then trying to get people through to product pages or getting on the email list and stuff like that means that they can keep selling them and keep building like the awareness and education up on that side of things. They've got things like kind of what to wear to cycling class, to spin, to Pilates, which obviously, again, like that is much more tied into what they do. And they can like kind of really tie in terms of like directly into product recommendations and things like that.
And it's going to be really interesting, isn't it, with like large language model traffic now, because people are going to be searching in queries like that, aren't they, into ChatGPT and this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how often they get picked. I'm pretty sure they're going to be like very much prevalent in those results going forward.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like there's been a lot of almost like talk, people have like been like, oh, there's no point creating this type of content anymore because like kind of AI overviews eat up a lot of the traffic. But like for me, it still feels like it's important to position yourself as almost as a solution to these sort of queries and the sort of things that you would promote elsewhere. So they'd probably create content on their socials about what to wear to the Pilates. They could send an email to people with that same content. So I feel like people need to consider that sort of angle when creating, like kind of thinking about what content to create and whether it's still valuable to brands. If it's a piece of content that you're going to promote elsewhere, whether that's social, email, and elsewhere, like it's definitely still a worthwhile piece of content to create because, like you said, it will be used to inform like AI search and everything like that. So be able to be making sure that your content's featured and therefore you're featured, and then your products and stuff like that, I feel like it's still going to be super important kind of like going forward as in this ever changing world of SEO and AI search that we're currently in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's like I get that argument. Well, the one, like you say, it's not just for organic traffic. Like you can use it in many other ways. And two, like unless you're really basically generally answering a really basic question that everyone else is answering, like what's the capital of France? Like, you know, then obviously you're not going to get picked up much anymore. But if you're saying like, what can I wear to Paris during January or something very specific, and you actually have a nice detailed piece and, you know, there's all the stuff in there that you should have and, you know, it's all marked up correctly and you're authoritative and stuff, then obviously that's still got a chance to be picked up. I don't like it when people are so one way or the other about like things. I think there's so much gray area about everything on this planet that you can never be 100% certain about anything. So yeah, nice valid points.
Yeah, 100%. More kind of like top of the funnel content. They kind of got best exercises for different like kind of types of muscle groups and stuff like that, again, which perform like kind of really, really well. Again, all attracting that right audience that most people, even if they're not kind of like hardcore gym goers and they're just looking for exercises, people will still wear gym wear to do this sort of kind of activity. So they kind of like got a really good, strong like kind of depth of content across different parts of the funnel. And then coming on to kind of like more middle of the funnel and stuff like that, they kind of got best leggings for running and stuff like that. So they kind of got a good kind of next step of content as it is, and then some versus content in terms of kind of like crew socks versus ankle socks, where they and kind of they have an article on kind of like what socks to wear for different things and stuff like that. So they've managed to pick up a lot of kind of like keyword rankings for like all this kind of like blog content that they're currently kind of going after. And then to like, top level kind of like keyword visibility. Obviously, this was created before the tracking issues that kind of Google have more introduced for rank trackers. So this probably look lower right now, but the fact that they still got kind of like, this was 27,000 keywords ranking in the top, kind of like 1 to 3. Obviously, like those numbers wouldn't have changed in terms of the rank tracking numbers. So it highlights the depth of content that they've kind of like created and going after. And for like terms like the best and the keywords that contain best, they've kind of got 20,000 keywords that they rank for, and I almost say 2,500 of those are in the top like 3 positions. Similar versus, they've got like hundreds of keywords that are all in those top positions. And then flagging the branded side of things, as I mentioned at the start, kind of they built a massive brand from all the marketing activity that they've been doing for like across social and elsewhere. And so you can see that a lot of their traffic is branded. I think I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was roughly like 50% of have branded, 1 million branded versus 1 million unbranded. So they've got such a strong branded search traffic that then has the knock-on effect that actually makes it easier to then rank for the non-branded types of things.
Like you say, I won't keep going about LLM traffic and stuff like that, but obviously results so far have seen like best of and versus those sort of articles are the ones being picked up and reviewed quite a lot and being used as a source. So it, they're obviously doing something right in that area.
Yeah, 100%. And then flagging just kind of like their top performing pages, obviously the homepage in terms of the branded side of things, but like it's a lot of this kind of like top of the funnel blog content, which does have a lot of the higher volumes of search volume. So they can, by ranking high, they get lots of kind of like traffic. But then down here, they've still got things like men's gym shorts and things like that that very high kind of like more transactional commercial intent for them there. And like women's leggings and workout sets and stuff like that. So they kind of like built a really good structure, the depth of content. The content that they actually have on their blog is really useful. It's got like their own imagery that they've made and kind of like GIFs and videos of workouts on the workout things. So they really invested heavily in creating like kind of, and as we like to say in SEO, they're generally helpful content that kind of like adds value to their users and actually makes answers to questions and everything like that for them. Yeah, and as we said, as I mentioned, they've kind of got a fantastic profile of kind of like the high authority publications that basically almost like everyone speaks to them. They've basically got like the fashion publications that link to them. They've kind of got like all like the gym and health stuff that links to them. They've kind of got all the businessy stuff because it's such a great kind of like business success story. They've got like the mainstream news. They basically almost like managed to pick up everything just from the different activities that they've just naturally been doing over the years. And I would always say there's probably a lot of the links that they've actually acquired probably don't necessarily weren't built for SEO purposes. They've just been from a branding and PR and that side of things. So it just makes it like a much more kind of easier win for them.
Yeah, I mean, they were one of the first, if I'm right, because I was involved in a website that's also along the same lines, but one of the first brands to jump on like Shopify, for example. So I think Shopify made like a big case about them because they blew up, and then they started saying that we've got Gymshark, and now Shopify huge, and everyone's switching over to them. But yeah, I think that things like that help, obviously. So they haven't really done anything; they just used it, but they've Shopify's also blown up, and it's helped them as well.
Yeah, 100%. So when you get features like in one of like the early Shopify kind of like real big case studies and stuff like that, but that in itself will have a knock-on effect of kind of like additional kind of like media pickup and stuff like that. They're like kind of social media game, and I think in the past they've done a lot of kind of like influencer based stuff again. So it's just all about awareness for them, which then raises like branded searches, which raises the easier to kind of rank for the non-branded stuff as well. So yes, they kind of got thousands upon thousands of kind of like paid for influencer mentions, but also likewise kind of like the natural kind of user generated content of people both doing reviews of their products that they get them, but also kind of like people that are like just random TikTokers and stuff that do like gym workouts and stuff on TikTok, and then it's like they're wearing Gymshark, and so it's just a massive kind of like snowball effect when it comes to the social stuff, like across all platforms, like kind of Reddit, YouTube, and everything like that. So flagging like quickly on the kind of AI citations, this is purely just taken from the top level kind of like hreflang screen, like kind of screen grab there, but like they got a significant number across all these kind of like across everywhere basically for all this, and it is across a lot of their blog content. It's product content. It's like kind of very varied in terms of where this is, and I think that they position themselves really well in terms of having all that depth of content already there. That'll no doubt help them as things kind of continue to grow in that space. So
I think we're not too far away from. They probably do it. Yeah, well, they do it already, but I'm sure it's going to get even more advanced where they can read a lot better into like imagery and video, and actually understand if someone's wearing a Gymshark shirt in the, video, they'll be able to pick that up and things like that. So I think they're doing all the right things. Like Ben Francis, he's done he was on it before like anyone like even knew about that kind of content. He was tracking all his progress, tracking what he was doing at each stage, videos, pictures, like a bit like Mr. Beast. He was kind of doing similar stuff. Like, these people are just like ahead of the game. And now everyone's like, oh, now you've got to do this user generated content, this influencer stuff. And Gymshark have been like so ahead of the game. And that's why they're kind of in the position, I guess they are. It's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So now I break down in the next few sections, I break down like some of their specific pages and kind of like what I kind of like really like around some of these. All right, we're going to start off with some of the technical stuff, which is obviously slightly harder to showcase. So they've got international sites across many markets, translated sites, UK sites, and a whole bunch of stuff. They kind of, but I think it's partly because they're on Shopify, and Shopify are really good at kind of managing this. But their hreflang tags are kind of like set up pretty much kind of like perfectly for each of the dedicated sites that they have, which I think vary from subdomain to subfolders. And they've got the X default hreflang, which points to the rest of the world's site itself. And got the standard kind of like self-referencing canonicals on across the site just to help prevent kind of like duplicate issues and stuff like that. Zoom in a little bit more. In terms of kind of like site structure, they're very clear in terms of kind of like they obviously have the women, men's accessories sections, and then they kind of break down their the kind of like category pages beneath them. They've kind of got a really strong like top level nature here. So obviously kind of they've got women's leggings like that they have, but then underneath women's leggings, they've then got kind of like high waisted. They've got scrunch bum, pockets. They've got a bunch of other ones in here as well, and I'll go over some of the specific features of the collection pages that they've got in a moment. In terms of the click depth, so they've kind of got virtually all kind of collection pages are within almost like 3 clicks of that homepage, because you can click through to leggings and then get through to Bitshops. Every other one underneath there, kind of like within a couple of clicks. So it's like that shallow depth of structure means that all these pages are going to be kind of like visible and seen by kind of like Google and other crawlers and stuff as they go. And their schema markup implementation is also fantastic, as most things are with Gymshark at the moment. Yes, a homepage, they've got organization and website pretty standard stuff. In the category pages, they've got the collection page and item list schema, just to kind of like make that as clear as possible. And then product pages, they kind of got the standard product offer, all the reviews and stuff in there, as well as and blog post, article and blog post. And so it's kind of like the essentials of the scheme across the board there. Now on to some of the specific pages. So kicking off with the homepage. So I feel like a lot of us SEO like kind of forget the homepage just because it's not necessarily, it's only one page, you can't rank it that much. As you mentioned before, kind of like it is the most authoritative page on the site. So by utilizing that authority, you can actually kind of like make a big difference to some like in a lot of areas of the site itself. So from a like UX CRO perspective, it's like kind of really clean. They have high quality imagery, like they know what they're doing from that side of things. All their CJs are kind of like really clear. Like all the links are kind of like in the HTML, so Google can crawl all the links and stuff on the homepage, not JavaScript, and so it's not confusing. Then they got the shopper look feature, so powered by some kind of influencer activity and stuff like that. So it all links into the brand awareness. They like some of these things vary. Every time, like a lot of ecom sites kind of like vary different sections depending on what they're focusing on, what kind of like the what season and stuff like that. But they frequently have kind of like focus areas that the view or link goes through to the collection page. So like there's lots of links through to the deeper collection pages on this homepage, which really helps. But they've started introducing different collection pages by kind of like activity that you're doing. So they're like kind of almost like capturing as much intent across the different kind of like keyword opportunities and searches that their brand customers are doing. Featuring their blog content, again, just helps that flow of authority through to the site, get some of these rankings for like more terms. So in between this section and this kind of like content-y section on their homepage is where they've added what we had spoke earlier about the linking block. So basically it's just almost like 4 lists of about 7 or 8 links. Like I think one's like women's leggings, and then has all the subcategories under there. And then it's like kind of men's gym wear, and then kind of links to specific collections under there. And so it's one of those things that is far enough down the homepage that probably the majority of people don't necessarily see it, but if they do, it is useful so you can see it. But also it's then got relevance and the internal linking through to all those pages really help. They do have like almost like a bit of a generic, this is probably like kind of, they could probably make this look better. But like they just got the standard kind of like gym clothes, workout clothes and stuff, and they can add the internal links through from here. This still exists on their homepage at the moment. And then they've got all the various things on that in the source from an ecom perspective in terms of the consumer information, returns information, everything like that, that kind of like showcases that it's a legitimate site to Google. Links to their social media, links like kind of showcases the payment methods, all the kind of like conversion boosting, the farming and activity that they've got going on there.
Yeah, I found the intent pages especially interesting because, like, as we said earlier, that is the future. How people are going to search. You're going to say, "I'm doing this exercise at the gym. What should I wear? This is my routine. What are the best clothes for this?" That's how. I mean, people are probably doing that already, but they're definitely going to be doing that in going forward. And also, I wonder if because I've featured on the channel recently, I'm sure you probably talked about on LinkedIn, but Google are always bringing out new sort of review widgets and review badges on e-commerce stores. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they incorporate more of that going forward. I don't know how many reviews they get on Google and stuff before they go through like Trustpilot or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on in future. So yes, onto category pages or collection pages if you're on Shopify. So they're in terms of the overall structure. So I've removed I've kind of like cropped this as an image. They list a lot more than just 5 products, or they have the load more button. But it's very clear in terms of they've kind of got the top level category, which is women. So they've got the top one. They've got the standard H1 of the cash game. They've got a short description at the top. They've got these internal links just underneath that, which again helps the authority flow through to these. Also, we found in the past that these get clicked on quite a lot. So normally these are the more popular types of like things that people are searching for, like kind of underneath the main heading. So actually kind of improve people who click on there are more likely to convert. Because they already clearly they're almost like showing you what they want. They then below that, like they've got the filters, which are the pretty standard in terms of size, features, fit, sort by, and everything like that, which is kind of like pretty standard. But what they also have is a little bit of copy below the product grid. Lots of this, like historically, this has often been like a 2,000 word essentially article. And more recently, it seems, and like I don't have any concrete data to back this up, but it seems that Google's starting even more so now to favor lesser content, still some content, but lesser content on category pages. So if you kind of got 20 products on the category page, but then have like 2,000 words of content, there's a couple of schools of thought that one is Google thinks it's actually a blog post and not a category page. But also it's kind of like very obvious that it's probably not going to be all useful. So by having a small amount of content and potentially some FAQs, which they do have on some of their category pages that actually inform and help the person actually make a decision is going to be so much more powerful than like kind of a generic kind of 2,000 word article that starts with what is a hoodie or like kind of stuff like that that is in no way going to be helpful to someone browsing that page.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then they kind of underneath there, they've then got more internal links. So they've got style with, so like relevant collections that basically people would buy additional products of, say joggers, gym leggings. So this is on the hoodies page. So it's like other products, and then they've got related products, the more closely sized ones like oversized, cropped, zip, gym jackets in there as well. So they kind of got a really strong kind of like base, and this is across all their collection pages. They have slightly different features on some of them. So I think if it's a really long tail keyword that probably doesn't have that much in terms of demand, they don't have as much content. So they focus on the ones that kind of bring in the most traffic and most money. And they've got kind of a relatively big focus on kind of like collecting emails as well. Like I mentioned on their blog, they have something like it's really prominent in the usual spaces across the site and their footer and heading. So they do that really well on that side of things. Into their kind of like product pages. So in a lot of ecom sites, you kind of got some, the vast majority of the time, it's the category pages that are going to be like kind of greater importance in terms of their potential traffic from the transactional commercial keywords. However, in some cases, the product pages matter a lot more if they're like kind of really specific, often like kind of branded ones, but also things like houseplants. People will search for like a plant name, and that's often a product page on a houseplant retailer. So there's like for Gymshark, the product pages aren't as important as the category pages, but they still do some really good stuff on here to target the longer tail keywords, but also like kind of filter, use the authority that they have. And from a UX perspective, it's kind of really strong. So they kind of they kept their naming conventions of their product really simple. I think some retailers, some brands will kind of like try and be clever with their like kind of naming conventions of their products, and so don't actually get any SEO benefit. But the fact that in this example, it's like training oversized fleece sweatshirt, so it's quite a like long specific term, but it's very obvious what the product is, so it's really clear. And if there is kind of like search volume for that particular term, there's good opportunities there. They kind of got the reviews. They've probably been more prominent in terms of the number of reviews that they kind of got for some of their products. The kind of like color swatches show the actual kind of like people wearing them, so you can actually tell the different colors. Size is obviously pretty standard, add to bag, all kind of like that sort of things. Pretty standard in terms of kind of like conversion rate boost and stuff. But yeah, so they kind of got, and then I've got like the descriptions and delivery information. They kind of like pop out within here. Again, it's all within the HTML, it's all rendered and stuff like that. So it's all kind of like relevant and crawlable from Google and other crawlers. So yes, a simple things in here in terms of kind of like their description, the kind of like size and fit and materials. So one of the hypothesis that I'm trying to test at the moment with the AI search is that obviously people are searching for much longer tail, like almost like conversational stuff within AI search. So if you're searching for a hoodie, but say like we mentioned before, it's like I'm going to Pilates, I want to wear a hoodie, like kind of what one should I get? One of the things I'm trying to do some tests on is like on product pages within like the description or bullet points or features or something like that, like have like a little section that says like kind of this hoodie is great for Pilates or something like that. So when the AI searches and LLMs and stuff like that are doing their own crawling or their own kind of like learnings or kind of like things like that they're going to then pick up combine the word of that product, like Pilates is on this product page, and therefore this product should be relevant for that search. So that's an interesting thing that like kind of people could try and see if that improves some visibility and traffic when it comes to that sort of things.
Just on obviously like the naming convention is like really good because like you say on like Google Shopping, it's not so specific that you won't show up for those more general searches, but then the brand authority will carry it through to be like clicked on more than others. So you haven't got to say Gymshark, but because it will be already associated to Gymshark and that'll show up. And also be very interested, again, I don't think you have any sort of knowledge or data on this already, but how this imagery and stuff and the naming conventions play with like Google Lens and stuff like that, because I think people are going to be using that kind of functionality a lot more going forward. I think I've seen data around a lot more people are using Google Lens now and those sort of functions to find things. So, if someone's wearing like a Gymshark, jumper or sweater or whatever, they could be found a lot quicker by doing this sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it's that whole brand building side of things. If once your like logo is really recognizable, if your logo's on the Gymshark products, if someone then searches for a product like an image that has a Gymshark logo on, then it's going to be quick for like the Google Lens and the AI side of things to like interpret that and like understand exactly where it's from. 100%. And then they've got the standard color you might like in terms of alternatives and complementary products to increase color AOV and upselling and internal linking through to those pages. Their review section is really cool in terms of you can like kind of see a bit more depth of I keep zooming the wrong way. A bit more depth in terms of kind of the comfort, size, and quality of product. They kind of like they request information from their customers in terms of their like kind of age, height, body type, what activity they're doing, what their usual size is. So people can actually kind of like get more value out of the reviews rather than just like great product or something like that. It's actually like you can actually see like someone who does the same activities as me or works out the same as me or kind of like what they're using the product for. So I find that really useful. And I think that's also something that I think links into what we just said about the LLMs, like kind of these reviews, if they're starting to be interpreted and stuff through that whole process, that people flag in like kind of a review that's a verified buyer, that's a 5-star review of a product that they've used for like kind of whatever they're using it for, that's probably going to make it more likely that you will be visible within these kind of like searches and things like that. They've got a couple of things on their blog, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. But their blog category page is actually kind of like feels really useful, and it's actually not just like a standard list of blog posts like most kind of ecom brands blogs are. But they've actually kind of like got featured ones, edited pics, the latest and stuff like that. So it's like they can use the authority and flow it through to the certain page that they want and increase kind of like your own readability and stuff like that. And then their blog post itself, the structure's really, really strong. They've got side tables, so it has some internal links. They've got the content on there to make it kind of like more easily read, who can jump around. I think now on the actual site, they've kind of got a newsletter sign up feature in that section as well. And they've kind of like got contextual kind of like internal links through to other blog posts and to products and categories and stuff in there. And then also they have like, I think from when I haven't probably read every single article they've written, but every article that I look at, it's always their content. It's always their images. They've got such a deep bank of content that obviously that they've built up and do such a lot of imagery and stuff like that, that they have all this content to be able to use quite easily and quickly. Within all their blog posts, they've kind of got CTAs through to products, more internal links. They've kind of then got actual kind of like product carousels and product grids on there as well. FAQ section just for extra support. And then they've kind of got the author box, the PAT stuff like their names and what they are. And then also what is quite interesting on their blog post is they've got a CTA for kind of like live chat support. So it's like gives someone like the opportunity to then go and actually have a chat about whatever they're reading about, which is pretty uncommon on most ecom sites. So so that kind of like wraps up pretty much everything that there is there in the Miro board. I enjoyed doing it as this process. I've done some in the past that I've done on like kind of almost like just a blog post style, but it's nice to give people a bit of like a different way to engage and visualize some of the information and stuff that's going on there.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed looking through it all. And like I say, it's like a really good blueprint for others to follow. And, obviously, like I say, I share the link and people can look through. You've obviously added notes throughout. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. What's like the kind of main, if people are looking at this, what are the main takeouts of it that people should think about in terms of like what Gymshark are doing really well and maybe you're seeing that others aren't doing as consistently?
Yes, I think probably the number one thing for me is their depth of content on their collection pages. So they've got a little bit of content above the fold, a little bit below the fold, but not an obscene amount of content below the product grid. But also the depth of collection pages that they have. So they've got like kind of women's gym leggings, but then they've got like kind of leggings with pockets, leggings for Pilates. They've got all these like kind of sub collections down, so they can really target the whole range of kind of like search demand around each of their product range that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I've seen is like the consistency, the brand consistency. I think they do that so well across from their stores down to their website to their social media. They're so on brand with everything. And yeah, like you say, like the depth, like they picked up on certain trends and demand, and they've used that. You know, I see so many. Again, I'm not a specialist in e-commerce. I have worked in the past, but not lately. But you know, it's so many companies that just have like just the basic like product landing pages. You know, just leggings, and they'll just stay with that, and then they won't even try and branch out to, even if there is demand there or whatnot. So, and in this new world that we're going into, I think that's going to be even more like important, and just the, I guess the kind of finalizing blog content. Yes or no, especially in the e-commerce space, do you think it's still, obviously they're getting results, but they're a big brand. If you're like a smaller brand or not like a Gymshark, basically, do you still think that's worthwhile doing a blog?
Yes, for the most part. I think the content to create, I think in the past, like I've got a small ecom brand selling cricket bats. And in the past, I created like 20 articles that was like best cricket bats for beginners, best cricket bats, whatever. And I feel like that content, just creating that content as a small brand probably doesn't make sense now. Whereas before it was just created for SEO, which we were always told not to just create content for SEO, but we still did. But now it's more about creating the content that you would share with your audience outside of the blog, like we mentioned, like kind of in the newsletter, like on social media, like kind of if it's content that you're happy enough to distribute elsewhere rather than just having it on the blog and internal links and hoping to get some traction. If it's a piece of content that you would share elsewhere and would help build your brand awareness, conversions, whatever that is, like I definitely think even for small brands, it's still definitely worth creating that type of content.
Yeah. And obviously they've done, like we said before, like, again, we all know this has become even more important, but making sure that you're kind of in all the right areas where your customers are, you know, obviously social media, the right channels, and obviously email, collect those, send them out, you know, it seems like common sense, but a lot of brands don't get it right. And then the ones who do obviously flourish. So yeah, it's great work. And I wanted to cover it because I really enjoyed looking over it. So is there anything else you've got going on at the moment you want to plug?
And yes, I've got a newsletter that's exclusively on e-commerce SEO. So if anyone wants to sign up for that, you can just head over to my website, freddiechatt.com, and sign up for that. But yeah, that's the main thing. If anyone wants to kind of like learn more about me or learn more about these, and if there's any other brands that people want me to do these sort of SEO breakdowns of, please do let me know. I really enjoy doing them. I know them too often. I think I've done 3 so far, but I want to do another one hopefully by the end of the year.
Awesome. I look forward to it. And before I go, you're into cricket, obviously. What is the Ashes score going to be?
I've got a backhouse. I reckon we'll win it 3-1. I mean, there'll be one draw.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
You're more optimistic than I am. But it's been a pleasure. It really has. So thank you, Freddie, for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks for having me.